So heading into the week, we all picked the Browns, obviously, and we were all wrong. The defensive effort from the Browns, we talked about a little earlier, just wasn't good enough, whether it was Newsome, Emerson, Hickman, guys who had been relatively solid all season, just got completely worked. In hindsight, do you think we underrated the Texans more than we overrated the Browns in this sense? And how do you kind of come to terms or put into context
what do you guys say?
the demise
I
of this
think,
defense?
listen, I'm still, maybe not, if I can spit it out, take two. We're all still very emotional about the Browns, so I'm not sure yet if we overrated them. I need to think about that a couple more days. I do know we underrated the Texans. I don't speak for anybody else. I know I underrated the Texans.
I agree with that.
There's no doubt. They have, now, if they lose to the whoever in the next round, I may feel differently, but they have a little feel like the Bengals did when they went to the Super Bowl with Burrow in his second year. For Stroud, it's his rookie year.
Stroud's
for
special.
Burrow, it was his first year.
Stroud isn't going
second
away.
Year. But they have a little bit of that feel that the quarterback has just made everybody better.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's who the special quarterbacks are. Now, where he ranks, we don't know yet. He's got to do it for 2. You can't just do it for 1 year before I put you with the elite of the elite.
No,
he looks like he's headed there.
But he's done something. He's done a lot of things that have never been done before.
Well, it's the first rookie quarterback, rookie
Head coach
Yeah.
to win a playoff game,
which is
they
amazing.
They were the first to win their division. Now they're the first to win a playoff game. And I don't think any of what we've seen with CJ Stroud is a fluke. I know you're right.
He's got to do it a second year.
I call that the cement year. The cement is poured, and it's got a great foundation. Now, does somebody walk through it and mess it all up, or does it lock into where it is? This kid is very special, and I changed my opinion on Ryan Day over the weekend because the fact that, and I know
look at you.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
I know that they didn't not win the championship because of Ryan Day or because of CJ Stroud.
Yes,
it was the defense. Clearly, everybody knew that. But the fact that he couldn't win a national championship with what now is looking like the equivalent of Joe Burrow is a bit of an indictment on Ryan Day.
Right.
How you gave up 18 points in the fourth quarter, that's going to be talked about for decades. But this guy is a special
There's no
player.
doubt about it. And think about they're making this run at the end of the season without another rookie, Tank Dell, who was sensational this year as a rookie.
They're going to be scary.
They hit on Stroud, they hit on Dell, they hit on Anderson. Those are the top 3 picks in the draft. They all look like potential long-time Pro Bowlers.
What do we know about, other than the fact that he came from the Patriots? Their general manager seems to be like Caserio.
He was under fire not that long ago.
Which is funny.
Big time. Well, I mean, they've had 3 coaches in 3 years. They had the Deshaun mess. They got sued by 30 women. Like, this is not a high-functioning organization.
They've been awful until
this is an organization that
he
very
saved
much
his job this year.
Yes,
I don't think anybody in Houston's talking about any of that nonsense.
Not now.
No, but I'm just saying this isn't that long ago. This is very much a dysfunctional organization that got bailed out by a terrific a terrific young quarterback and what looks to be a pretty good head coach.
Yeah, right.
By the way,
they've had 3 coaches.
I don't
in 3
even want to
years.
give the Texans too much credit for CJ Stroud. I will rip till the end of the world as one of the worst picks ever. And I know that you got to do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we got to see that Bryce Young next year is still that awful.
Right.
But the fact that the Carolina Panthers took a 5'10 Bryce Young
Yeah.
over this guy is all-time awful.
Now, he might still be good, but I
Maybe.
can't imagine he's ever going to be better than this guy.
He's 5'10.
It's impossible
And he's
to
always
believe.
going to be 5'10.
Yeah. In terms of Mike's original question, I underrated Houston a little bit, but we all said,
Especially their defense, guys.
Their
defense was way better than I thought it was.
But we all said, out of Jacksonville, Indy, and Houston, what's
That's
the
true.
team you don't want to see?
That was our last choice.
We all said Houston. Everyone said Jacksonville's probably number 1 the way they were playing at the moment.
And think about how
or
that
Indy,
came.
whatever.
Like, think of all the things that had to happen for us to have to go to Houston.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
any one of them. If it
Jacksonville
ends
lost,
differently,
5 of their last 6?
yes,
lost-
at one point they had a 2-game lead and owned the tiebreakers.
Right.
They had
they missed.
They had a 4th and goal on Tennessee in Week 18. All Lawrence has to do is get the ball over the goal line. Now they got to make the 2-point conversion after that, and who knows after that. But, I mean, they should have beat Tennessee in Week 18, and then the Browns are going to Jacksonville. And I'm thoroughly, although if they played like that, who knows?
Who knows?
But I totally
You know what?
believe they probably beat
Another
Jacksonville.
thing that surprised me, the Texans crowd was a lot better. And you know what?
I'm not so sure that there wasn't some help with that.
Oh, do you think they were piping sound in?
I'm not so sure there
see,
wasn't some help.
I've been in stadiums, by the way, where I've wondered that. I'm like, I'm sitting here, and it doesn't feel like this is generating that.
Really?
Being in that stadium, let me tell
Wow,
you.
that's really interesting.
That's not allowed?
No,
is it?
it's not.
Oh.
You're not allowed to
illegal.
pump in artificial noise.
I'm just saying.
Music, yes, it has to stop when the quarterback breaks the
There
huddle.
were. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of empty seats in that stadium.
Were there really?
Yes.
It's embarrassing.
Yes. There was
Texas
a
is
lot.
I
of
want an
embarrassing
investigation.
state,
There
Mike,
were.
your former state is a complete embarrassment.
There
We're
were.
going to have Jonathan Wells on in about 45 minutes. So
Oh, he's coming
we
on?
are? Oh.
To take a victory lap. He texted me after the game.
We said if we'll have him back Monday, expecting to.
Yeah, but he
take
wrote-
a
Well, I was
dump
going
on
to give
him.
Wells credit because he said, listen, they're going to be turned up for the game. There's not a lot of buzz right
Yeah.
now, but they're going to be turned up. I saw what the tickets were going for on the resale market. It was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. And
There was not the interest there.
The lower bowl was packed, but like the middle row and the uppers, there were a lot of empty seats.
So then listen, your theory I think might have some credence to it because at home, I
It
a
sounded
number of
loud.
times said, damn, this crowd is bringing it. I underestimated their fans.
Zach and I looked at each other early on. We're like, and Zach was the first one that said, "There's no way this crowd's making that noise. There's no way." Because
Wow,
so
that's
I'm just
really disappointing.
I'm just saying.
It's
I know
somebody
it's
riding the levels,
I
huh?
know it's
Hey,
illegal
you know
and it's
what?
against the rules, and nobody in the NFL ever cheated before.
Here's the new rule. Ready? Don't ask for permission. Ask for
Ask for
forgiveness.
forgiveness. Yeah.
We are looking at a national champion in college football that had not one, but two different scandals during the course of the season that caused their head coach to be suspended on two different occasions, and they won the national championship.
That's a fact.
So here's the drill. Go ahead and cheat.
Get away
That's
with
the
this.
message. Cheat. If you get caught, beg for forgiveness.
Get away with as much as you can.
And I got to tell you, that really, really, really disappoints me.
Well, by the way, the Astros didn't beg for forgiveness. The Michigan hasn't begged for forgiveness. They were defiant.
Jim Harbaugh had the audacity to tell the media after the game, I'm innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing the victim.
Jim, you're a liar.
The Michigan fans are playing the victim card. They are.
I know they are.
They think they're victims.
And you know what they did? It's crazy. And I think the Astros did this to an extent with their second World Series. They used it as a rallying cry.
Yeah.
They galvanized around the fact that they got caught cheating and people
Right.
were calling them cheaters.
Right.
How dare you call us a cheater? I mean, I know we cheated, but we're mad now. And you know what else I'm disappointed in? Off the topic, but I will get right back on it. ESPN, in their build-up to the national championship game, they were talking about Michigan like they were, like, oh, what a group. What a group of men they had their character challenged and they rallied together. And even after the game, they canonized them.
Right.
They're cheaters. And if society is going to take cheaters and still put the gold medal around their neck, guess what we're going to get a lot more of?
More cheaters.
Cheating.
We already do. We have a lot of liars
do.
and cheaters in powerful
And
positions.
so, who knows? Maybe it was pumpkin.
I'm rooting for the Texans, by the way, to go to the Super Bowl.
I kind of am too now. CJ Stroud, I think, is he's,
I'm rooting
how
for
do
the
you not root
Texans
for
or the
him?
Bills. That's who I'm rooting for.
I would like to see the Bills. Can Houston beat those teams? Yes. Do I think they will? No.
I just don't want I want the Ravens to lose again in their first playoff game.
I do
certainly
too.
want the
I
Steelers,
definitely want that.
Definitely want the Steelers to lose.
Listen,
I definitely want Tampa Bay to lose.
keep Browns fans away from sharp objects if the Steelers win
my
at 4:30 and Baker wins at 8 o'clock.
Oh, God.
It'll be ugly. I do have one more question before we move on to the next thing, though. But in the passing game with CJ Stroud, we saw receivers probably be more open against this Browns secondary we had seen at any other point during the season. I mean, Dalton Schultz on a couple of those deep passes, he was wide open. Nico Collins got past Emerson and Newsome. Brevin Jordan ran past everybody. Are you I don't want to say lack of effort, but there were a few plays, and especially the tight end screen that went for 76 yards, where just the tackling was poor.
That was Emerson.
And the effort was lackadaisical, at least from my viewer
I thought
perspective.
the effort was poor too.
Are you guys
secondary
surprised
no
that?
safety.
Absolute garbage.
Yeah, they did. They were awful.
Across the board. Nobody played
Greg
well.
Newsome, help me with this. Maybe
Yeah.
you guys have an answer because when I was watching it, I'm like, why did they just let that happen? The Texans wanted Collins on Newsome. So when they've got two wideouts to the left, and Newsome is obviously covering the slot guy, who was Collins, Collins just switched places and took the outside. And instead of the Browns just passing that off and letting Denzel take the outside, what they did was they said, we're going to take you and we're going to force you to play to your weakness. And when they switched off on that, I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
That was my biggest beef with Jim Schwartz. Is
Yes.
that Denzel Ward should have been on Nico Collins the whole game.
The whole game.
I don't know what happened. That was their only chance.
And it was just so funny. It's, you know what it's like? It's like when you're playing someone in checkers and they like make a move and you keep looking at it and you're like, is this a sucker move? What are they doing here? When the Browns followed Collins and Genu went to the outside, I'm like, well, they just took our strongest player out of the play and they put their best player on our weakest player. And we took the bait.
The rest of their wide receivers are just guys.
They are.
I don't know why the game plan wasn't to say, even when you, why would Denzel Ward just not, Denzel, shut him
He's your
him
guy.
down.
They didn't do that all year. Like Denzel had this side of the field.
It's the playoffs. Shake it up. We said he was going to have new rings.
I don't like that part about Jim's defense.
I'm just saying, like, they did it all year. That's how they played all year.
And maybe because they had enough confidence in anybody to stop anybody. But here's what we've learned. Martin Emerson is not fast, and Genu's a good slot corner. He's good. He's not great. He's a good, serviceable slot corner. When you put him on the outside against a team's best receiver, he gets undressed immediately.
Yeah, he can't
Nico
play
Collins was by him in 4 steps.
Yeah.
He can't play against the top receivers.
He can't.
No.
And it was so stunning to me that Houston said, we're going to try this. There's no way it's going to work, but we're just going to have Nico switch places.
Yeah,
and
it worked all game.
And there's no way you guys are going to take the bait on that, and we took the bait on that.
It was terrible. And, we made a point of saying, hey, Jim left some stuff in the bag for the playoffs. He didn't leave anything for the bag in the playoffs. He didn't try anything new. And even if you say they played that way the whole year, and you're right, how about you adjust when it's not working?
I agree with that.
There's no time to wait.
Yeah.
To the point that, and I don't like that they made the point. I thought it was a bad look on both Genu and on Myles Garrett to say, well, we didn't change up. Well, you didn't show up. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that first.
Yeah.
Yes, there were, but now you got everybody's pointing fingers all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's a bad look for everybody.
He said he didn't play bad. I mean,
He played horribly.
He was terrible.
And as far as Myles Garrett, I don't know how that guy is the defensive player of the year. I just don't. I've said it all along. My criticism on him, your best player has to make his best plays in the biggest spots. That's why I've said, to me, TJ's a little better. A little better.
In fairness, everybody thought the biggest competition was, what's his name in Dallas?
Michael Parsons.
And he was a pig
he
yesterday,
did nothing
too.
Either.
He was awful.
He no-showed also, and Watt's not playing tonight.
Is Mike McCarthy out today?
I think he's going to get fired.
You think he is? I don't think he is. I don't think
Jerry
he is.
was really coy with his post-game comments. I think he's out.
Dude, they dominated at home. They as good as the Browns were at home, Dallas was even better because they were great both offensively and defensively at home, and they got killed.
Awful.
Killed. And Dak was horrible.
What was crazy is they kind of made it interesting at the end.
Well, they had it to 16.
They had it to 16, and that
had the
onside
ball.
kick was there.
Yeah.
It worked, and the Cowboys didn't recover it.
No.
And even after that, the Packers put all their starters back in the game.
Yep.
And it looked like for a minute, if the Cowboys didn't completely piss down their leg at the 109 mark, it started when they caught a ball and didn't go out of bounds to stop the clock.
The Packers kind of shut it down there.
They did.
You do that, it's hard to get it going again.
I know it really is.
Yeah,
it was
Dallas
interesting.
was awful. But
I think they're going to be, you know what, we talk about this because it's the Steelers all the time. About, well, how do you fire their head coach? They make the playoffs. Well, in Dallas's case, it's worse because they win 12 games. And then they look nothing like the team that won 12 games.
At least Tomlin has won a championship.
He has won.
McCarthy did, but in Green Bay, so who cares?
Yeah, that equity did not transfer with him to Dallas. And losing to the team, that had to hurt for Mike McCarthy.
Right,
man.
yeah.